We have with us NBC News foreign correspondent Janis Mackey Frayer for us in Beijing, who's actually not in the bureau there, but in fact in a hotel room, because Janis, you were kicked out of the bureau ahead of preparations for this military parade.
We were evicted. We had been informed that because the NBC bureau overlooks Chang'an Avenue, which is the main parade route, we would have to get out of the bureau. We couldn't go on the balcony even for the last couple of days without running the risk of having somebody snap a picture of us and report us. So we've had several visits from the police over the past couple of days, and to the point where today at 6 o'clock, they were there and watched us pack up, and we had to leave. And we're not allowed to go back until after the parade is finished.
This is your third military parade. So is this per usual for what actually happens?
It's my badge of honor. Xi Jinping's only had 4, and I've had 3. It is reminiscent of past parades like this. People who live along the parade route are not allowed to leave their homes. They're not even allowed to look out their window because it's the route that Xi Jinping takes when he's in the car and he does the inspection of the troops. He stands out of the sunroof of the car. He has a bank of microphones in front of him, and he's waving and yelling, "Tongzhimen hao," greetings, comrades. They take absolutely every single precaution. So there's a whole list of things that we're not allowed to do. We're not allowed to take, obviously, food or water. We're not allowed to take paper or anything that could be used to create propaganda. We've just had a message saying that TV reporters are only allowed to take lipstick and eyebrow pencils. How those two items made the cut, I have no idea. But I think it's also testament to how seriously they're taking this event, because if you consider who is going to be in the stands with Xi Jinping, it's going to be an historic gathering.
I want to take a step back for a moment, because you're teasing who's going to be in the stands with Chinese President Xi Jinping, including North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. This is following some pretty incredible images that we've been seeing coming out of the summit over the last couple of days. And one image that I think was incredible is the hand-holding of Russian President Vladimir Putin, along with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and President Xi Jinping.
Consider the optics, but also consider the timing, Yasmin. Vladimir Putin is coming off of a meeting with President Trump about Ukraine, and Narendra Modi is nursing the wounds of 50% tariffs by the U.S. for buying Russian oil. So you have these two men who are coming together because of the dynamics of fundamental changes in the way the U.S. is practicing foreign policy. And then Xi Jinping is there to embrace them as well. These leaders wanted to telegraph the message that they have strength in numbers, that they present an alternative to a world order that has long been dominated by the U.S. And while they still have very big differences among them and simmering tensions among them, they were able to show, in particular to the U.S., that they are not without friends.
When we saw President Putin visiting with President Trump in Alaska, Putin got in the car with Trump, which we've never really seen before. Narendra Modi got in President Putin's car at this summit, and they spent 50 minutes in the car, uninterrupted.
Amazing.
While they continued to converse. Do we have any idea what went on in that vehicle?
Oh, to be a fly on the wall, but they wouldn't have allowed a fly anywhere near the vehicle. The optics of that moment were incredibly rich because it seemed solely designed as a message to President Trump that, maybe the 10-minute car ride in the Beast wasn't as big of a deal. And for Putin in particular, he was able to continue to ease his way out of political isolation.
Janis, walk us through this guest list of folks that are going to be in attendance for this military parade and what you're going to see.
We are going to see a lot of military hardware. It'll have all of the pageantry and display that you would expect of a grand military parade. Security experts will be looking for hypersonic missiles and next generation tanks, also fighter jets. In terms of what people will be looking for in the stands, Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un, and all of these other leaders, again, from mostly authoritarian regimes. What China is looking for out of this is to show that it has influence, to show it has friends, to show that it has made diplomatic strides, despite having strained relations with the United States. And they're also looking to stir national pride. There is a lot of economic uncertainty here. That's certainly no secret. But this is China really seizing the moment and seizing the spotlight to show that the world, from their perspective, is changing.
Do the Chinese watching cheer during the military parade? Are there any?
What Chinese watching? There are no Chinese watching.
So there's no barricades as you would see kind of on Fifth Avenue here in New York City?
The closest the average person is going to be able to get is at least one street away. There's like 6 square miles that are in total lockdown. People can't leave their homes, can't look out the windows. Schools have been closed. My son had his first day of school on Tuesday, and school was canceled on Wednesday. It's not a parade for the people. It's a parade that people will watch on television, because the television production of it will be spectacular. And what people see on TV, it's like Top Gun and, every Hollywood movie that you can think of. Wow. that idolizes military hardware. GoPros in fighter jets and motorcycles with cameras going beside Xi Jinping's car. It'll be quite a show for people on TV, because they're not going to get anywhere near it in real life.
Well, your eyebrows and your lipstick look beautiful for those people that cannot see you and are just listening. So you're going to be just fine in covering this military parade.
I need the most resilient cosmetics known to womankind to get me through the parade.
Janis Mackey Frayer, thank you so much, my friend. It was great to talk to you.
Great to talk to you as well. Thank you so much for having me.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or watch live on our YouTube channel.